Walmart's recently announced its largest private brand food launch in 20 years called Bettergoods. With rising inflation and increasing grocery prices, many retailers are facing the challenge of maintaining high-quality customer experiences and offering budget-friendly options. By developing their brands, retailers like Walmart control costs, ensure quality, and provide shoppers with affordable alternatives. So, are private label products the future of grocery? We are officially in Florida recording an in-person episode. And
which is crazy.
Yes. Coming from Charlotte, you're coming from South Bend, outside of Chicago.
Outside of Chicago.
It's so good to be here with you. We're actually at our podcast studio. It's called the Creator House, which is the coolest thing I've ever done work-wise.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I agree.
Wait, we get to be here?
Yeah.
And record content, which is so cool. And shout out, to Bloomreach and Sweetfish for helping us out with this. But I really am excited because we've got a lot on the docket today.
Same.
Our first episode being about private label brands.
Yes.
Now I want to kick it off with a question.
Yes.
What is your favorite private label brand?
Well, so I think my favorite. So I love Trader Joe's, and Trader Joe's is one of those places that you have to know what to buy. I know.
I do not know. Yeah. So that's my problem.
The only reason why I even know what I like, what I should try is TikTok or my sister. She's like, try the mussels. They're these mussels in a can, with, I think it's olive oil.
You need a shaman or someone to guide you through Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea. I get so confused.
I have this list. I love the mussels, the lightly smoked mussels. So add that to your list.
Okay.
I love the non-dairy oat milk creamer. I know you love a good creamer in your coffee.
I do. I felt like such a diva asking for a specific type of creamer today. So,
and then you've got to try the bourbon vanilla paste. You put that into your coffee too. It's kind of thick and it's amazing. So as you can tell that I just love Trader Joe's.
I need a list. I need send me all the TikToks. I need to know. Trader Joe's is a good one. I get so confused when I get in there, but it's got a cult following. I'm trying to think of mine. I just bought a home recently, so
Congrats.
I feel like, thank you. I'm going to be you're going to get sick of me talking about it. Sorry.
Prepare to be sick of me.
Prepare to be sick of me. I was thinking about mine and Trader Joe's. I wish I had that same prowess in that store, but I'm a go-to, Amazon is my go-to. Amazon Basics has all of the best stuff. And I know I can get good quality items without having to sacrifice on price. Plus the 2-day shipping is my jam.
Yeah.
I don't have to leave my home. Trader Joe's also, I don't know about you, but it's always packed. It's never chill.
Small footprint, a lot of stuff packed in there, and it's always super busy. But they got nice shopping carts, though.
They do.
That's a perk.
That's a plus.
For me.
That's a plus.
I don't need a squeaky wheel.
They do not have squeaky wheels. I'll give you that. I know one thing that I find a sleeper, and we're going to talk about, Target in general is not a sleeper, but we're going to talk about Target here in a little bit. But one thing I wanted to know was, do you guys have Dollar General near you?
We do.
Okay, so apparently Dollar General is DG Market now. Oh. But they also have their own private label.
A rebrand.
A rebrand we love.
Yeah.
And they have the best razors. And I know that sounds like a really weird thing, but for any of the girlies listening, a 5-blade razor, 5-pack is $3.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Private label, can be for any item.
Where it's at.
Yeah, that's where it's at. So those are a couple of my favorites. I love that you are a Trader Joe's stan.
Yeah.
Share all the goods.
Yeah, I will. I have this full list of things. You got to get this, you got to get this.
I wanted to talk about the broader trend of private label brands because I feel like it impacts grocery and beyond. And I saw that they were actually growing 6% just last year, reaching 17 billion, some reports say.
Which is insane. One of the things I really love about private label, and I know we're going to talk about this, is the fact that you can be so flexible with your marketing and your pricing. Costco, for example, they have this $1.50 hot dog, and it's been that from I think the beginning, but you can do that. When it's yours,
brand, you got it. You own it.
Yeah, exactly. And those type of experiences, those are things that are memorable, why people keep coming back.
Totally. It kind of makes you stand out too, because every retailer can sell all of the major brands. But when you start to create your own experiences,
it changes the game for you.
Totally. I'm curious as to why brands are doing it more, obviously beyond the benefit of owning your own strategy. And I look at demographics and it kind of seems like millennials and Gen Xers are actually making up a third of the private label food and bev sales, which is, I mean, you'd think it'd be the other way around. People with kids and families are trying to cut costs, but what do you think about the fact that the demographic is kind of shifting and people are looking for that way to stretch their dollar a little bit more?
I will compare the national brand to the private label. Like, look at the ingredients. Like, if the ingredients are the exact same,
why would you not?
I'm going to get the private label brand.
Of course. Save a couple dollars.
And I also, one of the things I think that Target and Walmart is doing, and it's really smart. So, for example, like we were talking about, Target has over 50 private label brands. Yeah. Walmart has thousands of private label products. But when you have this data, as retailers have, and you understand like what's selling best in certain categories, it allows you to play in those categories. And I think that's what they're doing. Like, so for example, I'm a Target stan. I shop there all the time. And I recently was just starting to notice like all the different private label products that they have, like in the dog category,
so many,
in the cleaning category, in the beauty. It's just crazy to see how they've expanded their offering over time.
Some items you don't need the fancy brand. Like I don't really feel the need to overspend on something that like doesn't really matter that much to me.
Right.
Maybe with animal stuff, you're like, oh, I want the best of the best for my little fur baby.
It depends. I mean, a chicken treat is a chicken treat.
Exactly. It's like they won't know the difference. Yeah. They won't know the difference most of the time. I don't even notice the difference most of the time. So I'm very conscious of like, if I really love a brand, I will get that brand. But otherwise, I'm kind of like, like whatever's cheaper, whatever makes the most sense. And also packaging matters.
Right.
Because I'm like, which one am I attracted to more?
I'm all about, packaging.
It matters.
Like you give me a glass bottle, like I'm going to buy it.
You are definitely an aesthetic girly. So you need the glass bottle,
I like
everything.
the really good, the lettering, the just, if it's the aesthetic I want, because then you can repurpose it and you have a new home. So like, think about like what you can do with that packaging.
Well, the brands that are actually understanding what millennials want and need, millennials and Gen Xers. And I mean, really, it's understanding your audience is the key, no matter what brand, no matter what product, and trying to figure out what they value most.
Right.
And if people are mostly cost conscious and they're okay with, something similar, but different, and honestly, it's not much different. And at the end of the day, I think people will gravitate towards the most accessible item. So
I agree.
I think too, it goes back to like data driven decisions making
for brands,
for brands, like making it very clear and understanding what people are buying, what people are gravitating towards. I guess you've talked to a lot of our customers. Are they looking into the data as much as we think they are? I mean, as consumers, we see that all the time. And marketers, but what are you seeing?
So one of the things that when I'm working with customers on is, especially from like a search and merchandising perspective, we're looking at where are the gaps. Like if you're seeing a lot of like your null searches, people are searching for things you don't carry, or they assume you carry it because they saw it somewhere else. And so they're searching in your data for it and they don't see it. That's an opportunity for merchants. I actually remember, because I've been in the e-commerce space for a very long time as a merchandiser, I remember actually we talked about Summer Sween a couple days ago, but I used to work for a brand that Halloween was our biggest holiday. And it was also like a seasonal business. So like we had like, we came hard for like home decor for like holiday and things like that. But we noticed around Halloween time, people were looking for storage and they were buying Christmas storage to store their Halloween products in. It makes sense. So then I took that to the merchants. Next thing you know, the next season, we had storage specifically for Halloween. That's like a category, like an opportunity to expand your assortment based on like what customers are looking for. And that's what I think is a prime example of how merchants can take what customers are looking for, their intent, and build experience around it, like expand their product assortment. And even if it doesn't, I think that's why like marketplaces, we're not talking about that today, we're talking about private label, but I think that's why marketplaces are so impactful because it allows you to expand your assortment of things you don't carry, but people are able to find it on your site and purchase.
Totally. And I think from the marketing side too, we look at like email opens and engagement on your socials and hearing what they say. I mean, we talked about social listening and understanding what people want.
Yeah. And when we were talking about the whole Taylor Swift, like the concert era and how people are coming to your site and they're searching for things like velvet and sequins. And maybe you don't sell the exact apparel things, but like as a brand, like you can create story. Like storytelling is everything. Like Olympics that just wrapped up.
It needs to be the headline right now.
You can give that aesthetic without actually carrying, like the product doesn't have to be labeled Olympics for you to create stories around it and show up in the moment.
When we talk to marketers and merchandisers, they're thinking about these things. So it's cool for us to like kind of see how it plays out from the technology side and what our customers are seeing and what they're implementing using the tool. But also on the other side, like we're consumers too. So that's kind of what this new show is going to be, a little bit of a mix of both. I say new show, but just kind of talking a little bit more in depth about our experiences and then just kind of how it relates back to commerce. So I love that.
So the data like that we were saying around like millennials and also like Gen Z, like are more brand agnostic.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a millennial. Like, do you feel like you've gravitated more towards the private label as opposed to buying the national brands?
I guess Target is like somewhere where I just go off of like how I'm feeling, what it looks like. And that's where packaging matters. That's where vibes matter and how they position it.
Which I think that brings it back to private label, because if people are like Trader Joe's, for example, and Trader Joe's has like a cult following, like we talked about early on, their bourbon paste, like I don't know where else I can get that, but I know I can get it from Trader Joe's. So I'm going to go to Trader Joe's and get that. That is the beauty of private label. And it brings it full circle. Like there are
become
things
known
that are, like,
for something
highly desired. Mm-hmm. You can only get it from this place. And there you go.
And they can create their own new categories too, which is cool.
Exactly.
And they don't have to consult any of the big brands to do so, which is really cool.
Yeah. Thinking about personalization just from like a merchandising strategy and like how you might be able to do that on your website. Like product recommendations are huge.
Totally.
Substitutions are huge. Like, you know, if you're a consumer and you're shopping on a website and you see that the product you're looking for is out of stock and the merchant is showing you like, you may also like these items that are very in line with what you were looking for. That's a perfect opportunity for a private label to insert themselves. A lot of times I've seen where national brands like don't show us on the same page as this brand or don't show us here. But, you know, your recommendation strategies, like if you have those on your product detail page, like, you know, at cart, you're showing like, you may also like these things. You might want to add on these things. That's a great way to serve up some of those products that customers might not even know you carry by personalizing experience in that way.
Does it come down to the procurement departments who order the major label brands in terms of like keeping things in stock, or does it fall on the major label brands to like ship everything over? Because that could be something interesting, because if it's on the big brands and you don't have it in stock, that could be your opportunity to swoop in.
Yeah.
I guess who would that be on?
I think it's more so strategy. So like, for example, if you're on a website and you're searching for Tylenol, like, will you actually buy Tylenol? Will you actually buy Advil? Or if you saw like off like ibuprofen, like no label that you don't know, like will you actually buy that? There's a lot of people that would buy the alternative. Like, no, I don't need like the national brand. I just want the
something
ingredients
to work.
in it.
It's the same.
So I think there's a lot that goes with strategy, but I mean, we talked about margin too. The reason why like you enter in these categories is you see there's like, there's a lot of velocity and there's an opportunity for your private label brand to, you know, some people will always buy brand. You can't like change that. But if you see an alternative at a lower price point that is exactly what you're looking for, has the same ingredients as a customer, like you're weighing those options and you might go with that lower cost option, especially if you're like price sensitive, price conscious, things like that.
And same benefit for the end user, but also like for the retailer, profit margins are higher.
Right.
Probably at the end of the day, they're making way more on that product. So maybe they serve that to you first and they're like, okay, like here's what you might want.
Yeah. Or at least include them on the same page so that you have, you know, what all is available.
And also gives people better choices too. It makes them a more informed consumer so they can make those decisions and they're not like being forced to purchase big labels just because it's there and available.
Exactly.
We're all looking for convenience, let's be real. So making sure that it makes sense for you.
I agree.
Well, I do want to talk about the announcement from Walmart. They launched Bettergoods. And to set this up, there were a few quotes that came from the press release I want to share just to set the scene.
Okay.
Bettergoods marks Walmart's largest private brand food launch in 20 years, the fastest food private brand. That's a mouthful. Walmart has brought to market, highlighting the speed in which Walmart can bring trend and innovation to market at scale.
Yeah.
Their senior VP of private brands, they said it's more than just a new private brand. It's a commitment to our customers that they can enjoy unique culinary flavors at the incredible value Walmart delivers. And that's where you own the story too. You have to tell the story in a way that makes sense. So you've got one customer, and that's where target audience comes in.
Right.
That's where customizing the message comes in. So all of your emails and all of your omni-channel strategy needs to and also you can run campaigns to promote each individual line in a way that appeals to whatever customer makes sense. So I think that's where you tie in the marketing and the personalization to it too.
It also helps change the perception too, because, if Walmart is known as a low cost retailer, you're going to get lower price, but it might, you might sacrifice on quality. But if they're introducing gourmet and,
specific keywords,
people are like, okay, Walmart, you wouldn't expect that from them. So I think it's a step in the right direction. You're also appealing to different demographics, different wallet sizes as well.
They might have some potential challenges with building brand trust around some of their brands, but I find myself when I see an influencer that I really like, Walmart being one of them, where I really love what they're sharing in the video. And they're like, it's from Walmart. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And it looks really high quality. And it feels like a real life action shot of them using it, or especially with home stuff.
Yeah.
And I go click their to know it or their link. And I'm kind of like, it's half the price of Target. But I almost don't trust it because I'm like, are they getting paid to say that that's the best?
Yeah.
And can I trust this video? And I feel people know that they're being marketed to. So I think that there is a little bit of that. You don't know it yet.
Yeah.
It's almost like you don't have the benefit of being on the market for very long. So there's not enough reviews and there's not enough, backing to say, I'm going to go confidently buy this $500 bed frame or whatever. Versus an $1,000 bed frame.
Yeah. It almost I have shopped on Walmart.com, but when I see something online that an influencer it's wearing or that they've talked about, it makes me make a store trip. And
go check it out.
Yeah, because I want to check it out for myself, thinking experience the quality. And I've gone to Walmart many times after seeing something that someone was wearing or that they told me to try.
I think it'll be an interesting thing to see play out. And I think it's going to showcase the brands that actually do stand out because sales are going to talk. They're going to speak for themselves. Are people buying it?
The numbers don't lie.
Yeah, the number is don't lie. So, and also reviews too will help with that. So I think that they'll monitor, the success of all of that, but the feedback and the perception, I think will only come with time. Agreed. So I'll be interested to see how that impacts, their market share in various categories.
100%.
Consumers are thinking about price. They are more price conscious than ever. They don't want to sacrifice on quality. They want it to be available when they need it, clearly. And convenience is super important. So, like me, we don't want to have to leave our house if we don't need to. Or if you make a trip to the store, you don't want it to be out. So what do business leaders need to be thinking about when it comes to those four things from a private label brand perspective?
Yeah. So think about that customer journey and think about what your customer needs. I think a lot of times we try to see what's everybody else doing, who else is introducing this, but look at your data, make sure that you're bringing things to the market that appeal to your consumer. And we know price is one of the number one factors that shoppers are looking for, especially as you look at the data around in today's economy, people becoming more price conscious and customers want a good experience. It doesn't matter if they're buying private label or they're buying national brands. We're driven by experiences. And, if you're thinking about what to introduce into the category, really digging into your data is how you get there.
I did see a study recently done that 59% of Gen Z consumers say that their own experiences, they trust their own experiences over brand promises. And retailers and brands kind of need to keep in mind that the experiences are first for people, just like you were saying, and materials and goods come second. So how are you going to tell that story? How are you going to make it feel authentic to them? And especially if they're concerned about price, quality, availability, and convenience. So what does that look like? I'm the same way. I'm all about the experience. So give me a vibe. Like,
Yeah.
tell me what I need to buy and tell me why too. And I think that's the messaging is so important.
Right.
All right, Roxy. Well, that about wraps up our episode. We talked about a lot of really cool things today. And we talked about our favorite things about Walmart, Target, Trader Joe's. I love this conversation. If you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to let us know on LinkedIn. We'd love to connect and hear your thoughts on the rise of private labels and its implications for the market broadly. And if you're looking for more insights on e-commerce and AI, be sure to sign up for the Edge newsletter. You'll get perspectives from everything happening in the industry straight to your inbox. Also, click the link in the bio of this episode to sign up or scan the QR code on the screen at the end of this video. Until next time, thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.